I just wanted to get back to writing, and I headed for the Czech Republic. In Prague, there's only one place where gypsies are safe, and that's down on Perlova Street, where the gypsy prostitutes have a pact with the local police to give them half of their earnings for protection. This poem is called The Golden City. My sister never wants me to visit her in Prague. She's afraid I'll see she's a whore. In our Roni families, there are no secrets. We all know what is going on. We just don't talk about it. I wasn't born until after the Second World War, but I heard my mother had to sleep with the guards in the concentration camps. It's the same today if a woman wants to survive. If she can pass for white, she has no problem getting a normal job cleaning toilets. But if she has dark skin like my sister, the only work she can get is going with a white man in his car or truck. Once a month, my sister comes home with her suitcase full of food for us. It's like Christmas when my sister comes back from the Golden City of Prague. This is the park where in the mid-1990s I found the homeless gypsies of Prague living, many of them survivors of World War II. This is where I met Miloš Ružička, and this is the poem I wrote about him. Living homeless in a Prague park today reminds him of his year in Auschwitz, sleeping on cold pavement that is just as hard as the bare wooden bunk beds, standing in line all afternoon for one bowl of soup and a piece of bread, sneaking around the corner to steal cabbage leaves from the garbage cans, scrounging for cigarette butts after the polished black boots have walked away. The barbed wire is not around the park, but around the politicians' souls. We are in the State Archives for South Bohemia. I started coming here in 1971 to do my family genealogy. Then the archive director asked me, do you know what happened at Lety during World War II? And she told me that the Czechs had a work camp there for gypsies, that everybody died, there were no survivors. And right away I got interested because that was the old Nazi excuse. No survivors of these camps. There were always survivors. The Czechs in the 1970s built a pig farm over the Holocaust site. Now, according to the Helsinki agreements signed by the Czech government, all Holocaust sites from World War II are supposed to be maintained in their original state. I finally embarrassed the Czech government with the help of the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum into putting up a monument where the mass graves were to commemorate. And in 1995, President Havel held the first memorial service there. They tried to prevent me from attending the memorial service. But finally, we reached an agreement, President Havel and I, that I could attend if I stopped libeling him for being involved in the cover-up. This is the Albanian military base now, but this is our refugee camp. They brought us from the schoolhouse in Kosovo Pole, and they put a couple thousand of us there in tents, and they said we were going to be safe. And then we discovered that we were next door to an Albanian village, and everybody got in a panic. They wanted to go back to the schoolhouse in Kosovo Pole, and then we had no water. And they said, gypsies don't need water. Gypsies know how to survive. They don't need water. The military trucks had truck in the water, and we got one truck about a week, and there wasn't water to cook the pasta. There wasn't water to wash. So we decided to walk out of the camp one Monday morning and walk down to Macedonia and try and get in there. Well, but the day before we left, everybody was going to go. And then when it really came time to march out of the camp, half of them stayed behind. They were afraid to go on the highway. And for 8 nights and 8 days, we were on the border. The UN refused to give us toilets. They housed us next to an open minefield. Every single day, we went to see the Minister of the Interior. We went to see the President. After 8 days, we got them in. The Trepčka lead mines in North Mitrovice are the largest lead mines in Europe. The head of UNMIK, Bernard Kouchner, now the Foreign Minister of France, put these 150 Kosovo Roma Gypsy families on toxic wasteland, promising them that they would only be there for 45 days. In 2000, his medical team tried to get him to evacuate these people abroad for medical treatment. He vetoed the idea. 10 years later, 84 deaths later, these people are still on toxic wastelands waiting to be saved. All of their children have irreversible brain damage due to the lead poisoning. This is Ergen, my friend, who's been in hospital 7 times this year with kidney disease caused by malnutrition and lead poisoning. Most of the kids in the camp have the same disease. His brother Robert is even worse. And we pay €7 a day for a special diet for him and his 7 brothers and sisters and the whole family, trying to prevent this kidney disease, or at least keep it in check. This little kid is 6 years old. He looks like he's 2 or 3. And it's all for malnutrition and kidney disease. He wants me to take her to America. How are you? Okay? Dr. Kouchner promised these people he would save them. He said he was a doctor. He understood lead poisoning. But in the end, he abandoned them. Since 1999, I've been trying to help gypsies survive in Kosovo. Through many aid organizations, I've started more than 100 small business projects for Roma and Ashkali, Kosovo gypsies. I've also conducted 3 English teaching courses that have taught intensive English to more than 75 young gypsies who had to leave primary and secondary school because of the NATO bombing. Almost everybody who took that course in the end got a job as an interpreter. I also have been trying to help gypsy painters. This is a young man who was 20 years old when I found him, very poor, barefooted, living in a small gypsy community. He wanted to be an artist, but had never had any lessons. All he did was copy things out of magazines. So I bought him his supplies, his paper and his paints, and he painted traditional gypsy scenes: the blacksmith, the fortune teller, the gypsy farmer. And later we were able to organize one-man exhibitions for him in Switzerland and in Germany, Austria, even Turkey and India. Today he supports his family, although he's usually still barefooted, still living in his poor home that has no running water. Another gypsy artist that I patronized was Musa. He was a camp leader in a refugee camp in 1999, but instead of drawing and painting traditional gypsy scenes, he painted their plight, their tragedy, how they were driven out of their homes, how they were forced to live in tents for the first time in their lives. Musa and Bayram are 2 gypsy artists that I've helped, and they have also illustrated my books. because I've given so many speeches at universities and high schools in Italy about the problem of Roma and immigrants and gypsies and the marginalized people. They wanted a book on what they called the history of the gypsies. But I said, well, rather than a history, because it's so obscure, I can write a book about my experiences living with them, collecting their customs and traditions and